Hoop nerds, Sarah the Vegan Hooper here. I hope you're having a beautiful day. Today I want to make a video on two hoops. I want to explain everything that you need to know before you decide to purchase a pair of twin hula hoops. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, so I hope that somebody gets something out of this. So, with no further ado, if you are having a beautiful day, then let's jump right in. Of course, when you're buying one hoop, there's a lot of people that say have it up to your belly button. From the floor to your belly button will help you get the hoop around your waist. And of course, you always downsize from there. For most people, other people enjoy large hoops like I do. It's just more freeing in my opinion. But for two hoops, it is a completely different story. So there are three different names for two hoops: mini hoops, double hoops, and twin hoops. Mini hoops are smaller hoops that you cannot put on your body and body hoop. I cannot put these on my waist and try to make them go, okay? They're too small. If you want a mini hoop, it is more for clean, techy, 3D images, different pictures you're trying to draw with your hoops. Double hoops are bigger. Double hooping is when you put two hoops on your body and you try to put one on your waist, one on your shoulders, one on your hands, or whatnot. That is double hooping, when you can on-body with two hoops. Think of Lisa Lottie, okay? So these are very big and they are very helpful to on-body learn how to do splits and such, as in one hoop on the waist, one on the knees. But if you want to do techie, clean things with your hooping, it's a little tougher to do with big doubles. So the reason that I label all of my tutorials twin hoop tutorials or twin tech tutorials is because it includes minis and doubles. It's kind of the happy medium. So I consider myself a twin hooper. I upsize, I downsize, I like all the sizes. There are some people who just like smaller hoops, which would be mini hooping, and then there's some people who like on-body large hoops, which would be like Lisa Lottie, and that's double hooping. But in my opinion, I'm a twin hooper. So there's the explanation with that. So for size, I'm gonna start big. I'm going to take out a tape measure. Like I said, all of these are 5/8 in thickness. This is the largest pair of twin hoops I have. This pink hoop has a lot of hoopers sign this hoop for me. I took it to a lot of different workshops. But with that being said, the thickness of this bad boy, which is a double, oops. So you would take your tape measure and you would go from the middle to the other side, okay? So what is this, 31 inches if I'm not mistaken? 30 or 31? So this 30-inch double hoops is perfect for on-body hooping. It's a little tougher if you want to start by learning like different moves like double isolations or weaves. It's a little tougher with larger hoops. Moving on, we have these bad boys. These are my favorite size hoops. I just started hooping with them. I can do on-body things, like I could do the behind the back, elbow pass, and I could do breaks and paddles, but with these, I honestly cannot put it on my waist. So these are the hot pink color and the hot yellow color are the only set that I could on-body hoop on. This is 28 inches. So this is 2 inches smaller than these, and I can't on-body with this. I'm sure if I was smaller I could. 30, and then this is what, 28? These are my favorite size. And then we have, now we're getting more into the minis, okay? This is a size that when I upsized to this, I was a little intimidated. It took a while to get a hang of. These are 26 inches, so I went down another 2, I went up another 2 inches. So 30, 28, 26, and honestly, 26 is a good size. I could do all of my clean tech with it. And of course, this size, I have probably 7 different sets of twins in this size, different colors. I absolutely love this size hoop, and I honestly use this size for years. Of course, it's 5/8 thickness, and it is 25. So 25 inches were these minis. And if you look back on most of my tutorials, this is the size I teached in. If you want to learn clean isolations and such, it's much easier with a size like this, because when you're teaching your brain to do a clean isolation with a smaller hoop with both hands, you don't have to make a huge circle. You're concentrating on a smaller circle or circumference, if you get what I'm saying. And of course, these are my smallest hoops. It's a set of juggling quads that the beautiful Cassie McKenney made for me. These are quite small, and I pop these out every now and then. They are 22 inches long. Now, the problem with a smaller size like this is that when you are doing isolations and such, it's so small that you really got to be faster with smaller hoops, okay? So if that makes sense, if that helps anybody out there. My twin hoops are always 5/8 thickness. All of these are 5/8 thickness. And that is because when you put 2 hoops in one hand, you want them to be able to fit. When you get into doing your tosses and your hand switches, you want the hoops to fit in your hand comfortably, and for me, 5/8 is the bee's knees. So there's different tubing, of course. There's HDPE, which is a little thicker. If you hit yourself in the head with it, it hurts a little more. I do not enjoy HDPE for twin hooping. I really enjoy it for on-body hooping because it's so fast and airy, okay? But I recommend Poly Pro. It is just so light and easy to work with, and it can hold up in all sorts of weather, of course. And you can get your hoop taped, or you could get your hoops bare, but I enjoy my Poly Pro naked. It stinks because there are so many beautiful tapes out there. But the problem with tapes for me with twin hooping is it weighs the hoop down, so the hoop is significantly heavier, not crazy heavy, but you can feel the difference with taped hoops, the weight, but of course you'll get used to whatever you mess with. And also, I drop my hoops a lot. They fling all over the place, inside, outside, furniture, cement, and they scratch up. And when you scratch beautiful taping, you start to not only see it, but you feel it. So when you're hooping with different scrapes on your hoops, you feel it. But with Naked Poly Pro, you can scrape the hoop up all you want, and of course it will stay the same color basically. When you go to buy a Poly Pro, if it is naked, they ask if you want it shaved down or sanded. And the reason that is because it gives you a little bit of grip. They also sell grip tape that's real thin that goes around the hoop. I personally don't like that, or any tape, because it ends up falling off. But I do sand the inside of my hoops with sandpaper at home, and I really do it so that it gives me, sometimes when I get a new pair of fresh Poly Pro hoops and they are not shaved, they fling off my thumbs a lot, or they go flying, and then I'll take a piece of sandpaper and I'll sand the inside, and it's much easier to hold on to. I don't know why, it just gives it a little bit of tension. A lot of people also sand their whole hoop, so they'll sand the outside and the inside. I personally don't do that. I'm more of an inside hooper. I do a lot of folds with outside grips. that's just a personal preference. Try sanding inside, and then if you want to try outside, it's quite a journey on what you like. There's also different connections. So yes, it goes on and on. The connection is what holds the hoop together. It's just a small part of it. There is a push pin connector for most on-body large hoops, such as these, where you can push the hoop pin in and pull it out, as so. And there goes my battery. But when you get into twin hooping, me personally, because I'm obsessed with it, I feel the push pin, and also it's a little bit weighted, so it's a little heavy with the push pin. You can notice a difference. So I personally like a friction fit connection. What that is a piece of plastic that they put on inside one end of the hoop and inside the other end, and you push the hoop together, and you use a little bit of clear tape when you get them, and you just wrap the tape around and you're good to go. That's personally what I enjoy with twin hoops, is a Polypro naked, sanded, push friction fit connection. So now that I explained everything basically, I want to explain my journey in sizing, just so that you can decide what size you really want. Personally, I did not choose the size of my first set of twin hoops. I went online with my boyfriend to buy my first Polypro hula hoop, and he said, instead of getting this beautiful colored hoop for $25, why don't you get this clear hula hoop for $25, which also comes with a set of mini hoops. And it took me a lot of no's to finally say, fine, I'll try them, but I won't like them. You know, I'm a one hooper for life. So when they came in the mail, I ended up falling in love with them, and so the size was this, as I mentioned. So this is considered mini hoops, and I stayed with this size for a very long time. That's because it was my first set, which was clear, and I fell in love with the size. So for me personally, I started off with minis. But as time went on, I would buy a new pair that would be in the same size. I have about 5 pairs in this size, like I mentioned, and I decided I want to get into juggling. So I had Cassie McKinney make me a beautiful set of these bad boys, which is even smaller. So these are actually heat shrunken, like shrink wrap. So if you could feel them, they feel like butter, and they're so light and beautiful. Like I said, they're a set of quads, but I went smaller at one point, but I didn't enjoy the size as much. So I decided when I wanted to go and buy another pair, I wanted to either get this size or I wanted to go up. And I did go up. And the size I went to was this. So I went up 2 inches at a time, each time. And these purple bad boys, here, let me get this out of the way. These are 2 inches bigger. You could see you could barely tell that there's a difference, but once you start doing your isolations and such, you'll notice that every time that you upsize your hoops, you have to reteach yourself clean tech. So even though you know the trick by muscle memory, every time I upsized, it would take me a few days of hardcore drilling and practicing to make my isolations and such clean every time I upsized my hoop. That's because it's a different size, you're going faster, slower, so on and so forth. So then I decided, well, I just want to upsize, because my hoop queen at the time, who was Monica Marie Hoops, who I was absolutely in love with, she had larger hoops. So I decided to go up to this size. And this size I bought from Benjamin Barry at a workshop, and I thought, wow, these things are huge. And honestly, they are huge, but once I drilled and retaught myself all of my tricks nice and clean, I fell in love with larger hoops. Now, like I said in the beginning, these purple bad boys are not big enough to do on-body waist hooping and such. but I can do an elbow pass behind my back. And for some reason, even though I've started by falling in love with clean, beautiful tech, so I really loved mini hoops because you can make so many designs with them, I noticed that the bigger was the better as I evolved on my hoop journey. I felt more free with bigger hoops. They were a little bit slower. As the bigger they get, they're a little bit slower, so you could do more tricks with them. I just fell in love with a little bit bigger. And of course, I have a pair of huge on-body hoops, which I rarely use. I tried so hard to get into on-body double hooping, but honestly, I never practiced because my passion is with tech, okay? So I'm addicted to twin tech. I like, you know, different designs, as I mentioned. So you have to really decide on what you like. It's trial and error. If you do decide to get a set of mini hoops, I think that me starting small and getting big was meant to happen because I taught myself clean artwork. And as I got bigger, I just fell in love with twin hooping even more because it expanded my horizon. If you are into more on-body double hooping, then get yourself the size of your one hoop, get two. But just realize that you won't be able to do as much tech and clean things. You could do beautiful rolls and on-body stuff, but it's gonna take a little bit more work if you're into techy things. If you want to start larger like I did and then go down, then I am very curious to see how your journey goes. If you decide to stay with a bigger hoop, a bigger twin hoop, or if you decide to go down to minis. But I absolutely wouldn't trade my size journey if I could redo it, because going small really taught me clean tech. So that is it. I've always wanted to make a video explaining different types of hoop sizing and such with twin hoops because I get a lot of comments and questions on it. But right now, 3 years into my twin hooping journey, I am in love with Naked Poly Pro Friction Fit Connection, sanding it myself as needed, and these are 28 inches, 5/8 thickness, okay? 5/8 for life for twin hoops. If you're deciding to do doubles on body, you can go as thick as you'd like because, of course, on body hooping is a little bit different. But when I finally decided to put some money into these Future Hoop Pros, or whatever they're called, Mood Hoop, Future Hoops, I actually went up a couple inches or an inch or so than what I am used to because I just feel like I'm just gonna keep going up and I can really enjoy a bigger size with these Future hoops. So these are not the size that I'm comfortable with, which I'm quite crazy to do, but at the moment I keep upsizing every couple months, so I am happy that I invested in a larger size. I would say if you are a beginner twin hooper and you are looking to invest your money in some $1,000 prop, I would wait a couple years, buy something inexpensive that glows in the dark or does, you know, a couple different colors, then invest in something so expensive, especially when you are not sure if you're going to like two hoops or if you are going to upsize or downsize. So just wait a little bit like I did. I waited a few years to decide where I really wanted to be, but in the back of my head, I always wanted a pair of these bad boys. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below in the comment box. If you want to buy a pair of hoops, check out my sponsor's Etsy shop, Festival Treasures. Use my code VEGANHOOPER for cash off of your purchase total. And happy hooping, guys. Peace and God bless you. Mwah.